This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
This is going to be really interesting, actually. There's been a lot of commentary about the back page of the West Australian
Nationally.
by us and nationally, all over the place, actually. Jakeb Waddell is the sports editor for the West Australian. He's been responsible for those back pages of the paper, and we're wondering, when's it going to end?
Now, there was an article out on Perth now. You can check it out. And Jacob talks about what the reasoning why behind it. But then also, Jacob, welcome, the death threats you've been getting. Hey, mate.
Hang on, we're still waiting
Not
to
like
get
that. One sec.
Oh, we're having trouble with
Well,
our
we're getting
phone
to him
system.
at the moment. So, yeah, Nathan, in the article, he talks about the death threats. We'll hear them firsthand in a second. But also with the back page, he's talking about this is not going to stop. We're fully invested.
Here we go. Hey, Jacob, how are you, buddy?
Good morning. How are we going?
Hey,
Hey, Jacob, first of all, we appreciate you talking to us on your day off because we know it's your day off today.
I
But
know, you know what? We literally said we wouldn't do it. So if it was our day off, I would not answer this phone call. So you're
we
amazing.
also love that you wrote this opinion piece and then took the day off. Well done.
I think Rhino stitched me up a little bit here, has he?
So obviously you've been getting some full-on reactions. I mean, you know, people have seen humour in the back page of the West, but I'm
We're
just going
talking
to
about
read
the
out.
Harley Reid fixation, obviously.
But I'm just going to read some of the comments. It was, if I ever see you around Perth, I will assault you. I will take pleasure in it too. Next one, you need to kill yourself. Next one, quit or I'll burn your office down. Oh, that's an empty threat. They're not going to burn your office down.
No.
But yeah, so it's been.
I mean, that is full on.
It's been full on.
It's been absolutely full on. And first of all, when you said about burning the office down wouldn't happen, the fire alarm also came on at work yesterday. So.
You're like, they've come for me already.
They got through the vents.
I was looking around. It's like that scene of The Office where it's like, it's happening. Very, very full on. Completely, I think, like I kind of said in the opinion piece, like, you know, sport, it's entertainment, it's fun. People have different points of view. We definitely welcome the criticism and love, you know, when Dockers fans and even diehard Eagles fans stop you to have to give you a bit of a spray and on the street. Absolutely love it. But that was the thing. It was like, gee, surely we've got to draw the line at the
killing someone for it. Yes, you should be able to live, Jacob.
Now, Jacob, I've been really critical of this, and I will stand by my thoughts on it, which is this is an individual that you're putting under extreme pressure, and
very young individual.
You're only going to heap pain on him as the time goes by. This is my opinion. Why do you think it's important, or why is it important to the West Australian to make sure that he is back page and every other page in the paper as the year goes on?
I think at the start, definitely there were a lot of people that had that view. Our thing is, you know, the Eagles are clearly going in a positive direction at the moment, you know, and Harley Reid.
Do you know they've only won 2 games, Jacob?
Incrementally, Jacob.
You know they've won 2 games for the season?
Hey, quote Adam Simpson, you know, rebuilding, there's ups and downs, it takes time. But, you know, they're clearly, you know, they've got a new CEO, which is also a big part of that. And I think Harley is the face right now of a club that's moving forward. But also, Nathan, like, I haven't been in any conversation with mates, experts, commentators, anything where Harley Reid's name hasn't come up in the first 5 seconds. So as much as it's us, people say, you know, we blow it up. It's also a, pardon the pun, a bit of a read of the room, I think.
But then again, I mean, like, if there's something... this is what one of the comments on the Perth Now article, right? And this is Tony A, right? He writes, don't agree with violent threats at all, but it would be nice if you remembered that there is more than one footy team in this city. And that goes to the other things as there is more than one sport. So I suppose when you're concentrating on... Even you admit, even when Harley's done nothing, you're putting him on the back page of the paper, even if there's no story, you'll still put him on there. I know leaning into the joke is there, but I think some people are seeing it as an insult to the sports that they're playing, that people are achieving in, and the only thing that's worthy of it is this young man. And I suppose that's where some of the anger could be coming towards. You guys and the paper, what do you have to say about that? Because there are a lot of sports, they're amazing people that are doing amazing things, but we're not reading about it.
Yeah, 100%. I think a lot of people, as much, and you know, it's probably good for me that they get so into the back page, and that's what goes on social media and draws a lot of that conversation. What I'll say to those people is just flip the paper open. It's all in there. We've got some fantastic dedicated journalists at the West. We have dedicated soccer writers, netball writers.
Yeah, but the back page or the front page is when you've made it, though. You know what I mean? So someone during this Harley reign could be in netball or something like that. Another sport where they have achieved something amazing, and normally they would be on the back page, but then you're going to just put up a joke thing about Harley
when he hasn't really done anything.
Yeah. You can see how that could step on people's toes.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But I think like things like, we've definitely promoted things like the netball this season. It's everything is fair share. I think, people bring up these stats like, oh, he's been on 40 back pages or something like that. But it's like, yeah, but we put one of those out every single day, right? So, while it is a massive stat and he definitely has dominated, it's, there's like 70 other ones that he hasn't been on, right?
The concern for me, Jacob, is that as a West Coast supporter, that by putting him up on this pedestal, you're really just setting him up to be knocked down by everybody else.
Tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah, that tall poppy
right.
syndrome. And that, that he is going to leave, that he will, the focus is too much for him. And we're talking about a 19-year-old kid who's not from here. So the lure to go home, potentially could be quite strong. And when you add this pressure onto it and the pressure piles and piles, and if he starts to not perform or he's not performing to where everybody thinks he should because he's been on the back page of the paper every week, and people don't give him the latitude of being a young kid playing his first season, that's just extra fodder for him to go, you know what, I don't want this focus, I'm out.
Do you know what? And that's absolutely a fair enough view, Nat. And I think that's what I was kind of saying in the column is like I kind of welcome these kind of views, which is fantastic. I definitely see what you mean. I think a lot of people were talking about this before the season. It was this whole thing of they're setting him up to fail, and when he fails, they're going to jump on him. Well, I think we set him up really well. I think he's done absolutely fantastic. He's already had a Mark of the Year nomination. He's just had another Mark of the Round nod the other day. He's already had a Rising Star nomination. He's the clear front runner to win that. So you could definitely argue that he is having a fantastic start to his career. And maybe he's had a few games where people were holding him to a higher standard. You look at what the Kane Corns of the world had to say about him, which I thought was completely unfair. And
I disagree with you. I totally disagree with you, Jacob. You guys were defending the hell out of Harley, but at the same time not accepting any criticism from outside the world, which is what you're setting it up for. You're setting up for critics to come in, like Kane Corn, saying he's
harder
unfit.
because you guys are building him up so much.
And if you watch the game, that he's unable to run out a full game of football at this present times, and that's only because he's 19. When he's 23, he'll be burning the boots. We've got no doubt about that. But I feel you're setting him up to fail. And I know you disagreed with what Nat's comments were there to agree, but people from other clubs, there's 17 other clubs, they're going to go against this poor young guy because of the pressure that I believe you've been putting on him. The other thing is Peter Sumich came out, wanted to write an article mentioning that stuff, and you guys disagreed with it. We can't have any bad stuff about Harley. So he stopped working for the paper.
And on that as well, we've spoken to a lot of people. We've spoken to a lot of AFL players, current and past, and to be honest, we've run this off air, this Harley question around them, and they've all said, I would hate for the paper to be doing what they're doing to him, for me personally. And you seem in the paper to have spoken to, was it Will Schofield?
Yep.
And he gave you that sort of same thing, but you guys just ignore
and said we're going to go harder. Or you haven't seen anything yet, Jacob.
So what's that?
Yeah, no worries. I find the Peter Sumich stuff really, really interesting because people do often play this. They do kind of say, you're heaping so much pressure on a young kid, and a lot of people bring up, mental health and things like that. The reason we didn't run that column is because it made comments about his body weight. So I get really confused when people bring Summer up as like this kind of hero that stood up against the West. It was like, mate, he wanted to write a column saying that he has puppy fat that he needs to shed if he's ever going to make it in the AFL. That is a clear...
But an editor could have cut that out. So you, but also
you could put it in different way. Run the gist of it.
Yeah. So I mean, we know how the paper works.
And mate, that was my job for a long time. There was a lot of guys. We had guys who were put into a group called the Fat Club. They can deal with it.
Yeah, but
skin folds are skin folds. They do it, but they don't talk about it.
Yeah, because the gist of what Suma was saying, because we spoke to him about it, was that he's a very young player playing his first season, and you can't expect him to have the same fitness levels as players that have been playing for 5 years.
Yeah, if you wrote it like that, we might have run the column.
But don't editors then come in and say, we take that bit out? Or did he say, if you take that bit out, I'm out?
Correct.
Oh, interesting. But what about the thing where we were talking about how other past players are concerned? Do you take that on board at all?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's part of what I kind of said in that column. That is the criticism that we welcome. I think the thing is, if I had have got to the first couple of games and, this kid was out of steam and it was, okay, this really is absolutely going nowhere, then it's, okay, let's, it's read the room, that he's not actually up to that standard yet, let's drop it. I think the thing is, he pretty much won him a derby, almost on his own hands, and every single week his game is filled with highlights that, he's trending on Twitter straight away, and, we look at those things, okay, that's what everyone's talking about today.
Jacob, he didn't even win the medal at the Derby, just quietly.
Yeah, 19%. He did some really great moments. Elliot Yeo is by far the most influential player.
Yeah. Hey, look, we're not going to change what you're doing, but I just want to ask you another thing, right? Do you have a board ready to go with possible Harley back pages that you go, okay, we'll wait until we do that and we can make him milk, or we can make him this? Is there an idea board there?
I can't reveal my secret.
Yeah, there is. Oh my God! So if I have an idea, because if I'm not going to stop it, I'll just jump in and join. Yeah. If I have an idea, a Harley idea, I can send it to you, and it might make the back paper as one of your headlines.
Absolutely. It wouldn't be the first time something like that's happened.
I'm good with a pun.
Hey, Jacob, we really appreciate your time for coming up and fronted up. I think. Well, I personally disagree with what you're doing, but you fronted up to us. You've taken our call, and we appreciate your time.
Yeah. And you can get Shaun on board if you just sacrifice one of the Harley Reid stories and put him on the back page of the paper. Maybe just like I remember when.
What Shaun McManus thinks of Harley Reid.
Yes. That's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll brainstorm and get some ideas
great,
for you.
by the way.
Thanks, Jacob.
Thanks, Jacob.
Stay on the line, Shaun.
See you, buddy.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Always great to have Caitlin Bassett in the house. Of course, netball superstar, 102 games for Australia. West Coast Fever are taking on the Adelaide Thunderbirds. We will get to that, but we've been doing a lot of physical testing this morning in the studio. Seabass, since you come in.
Seabass.
Hi, good morning.
So Amy, our producer. That was one of the most amazing things ever. Amy, tell us about the prawn challenge firstly. Because Caitlin, the shrimp, you said this couldn't happen in real life.
It couldn't be done.
I thought it was a send up.
Yeah. So what happens?
So you kneel down on one knee.
Yeah.
Then the other knee behind you, you pull back.
Yeah.
So you're stretching
your quad.
And you're holding it with your hand.
And then you stand up with the knee that you've got like.
Yes. So you put all your weight on your front foot.
Anyway,
and stand up.
We've all tried it. It is not possible. Amy did it on both legs. Yeah,
but look how short I am.
Yeah, we've got a new challenge for you. What's the new challenge?
Yeah. Get it. So we want to get it out from Middle Earth for all you shorties, and let's talk about your challenge.
Oh, to touch the roof?
No.
Oh, my challenge. Oh, no.
Well, that's for the tallies.
Yeah. Okay, so we were saying like when I've had a lot of male physios in my time, and I think it's just something you just become acquainted to as a female athlete. Like, it's actually fine. You get to know them really well. It's all good. One of the tests we used to do, and we used to giggle about it so much, is he used to put his hand between your bum crack.
So in your bum crack?
Yes, like jam it right in there, and you used to squeeze as hard as you can, and he'd be like, squeeze that.
So he's testing the strength of your glute muscles.
Pretty much, he just, and he was quite old, so it's probably very old school. You wouldn't do it now, but we used to think it was absolutely hilarious.
Well, you would. I did it now. I did it to Caitlin to see.
To be fair, you did it to yourself.
I know. Firstly, I did it to myself, and then I don't know if that's happening. And then I did it to Caitlin, and Caitlin, I swear to God, if she had no arms, she could build a house with her bum crack. She could literally use tools. Like, that is insane.
She can hold a hammer, for sure.
You did it to me.
You can hold a hammer.
I was like, squeeze Nathan. I am. No, squeeze.
And then Shaun was like, okay, do it to me, because Shaun is the Serena Williams of the group.
Yes.
So then Shaun did it to me. Shaun, can I tell you right now? That was possibly the closest my hand is to being in a vice. That was unbelievable. If you know what, and this is great for you, this is just for your own safety.
Yes.
If you don't want someone going in there, they're not going in.
Yeah, you'll be right in prison.
And then also, Shaun, if they want to get out, they're not going anywhere. That you control that area. That was insane.
Some great testing going, physical
So
testing.
everyone today, just try it. Firstly, ask for consent. Put your hand down someone's bum crack, like your
you could do your own.
or your own. But I think it's funner on other people, because you know what, you might know them, but you don't know the power of their ass, and that'll blow your mind.
Glute strength's very important.
It is, isn't it?
That's the biggest muscle in the body, really.
Yeah, it's one of them. Yep.
Okay, Caitlin, over to the West Coast Fever. If we go back to Friday night's game, it was an absolute demolition job. They're in fine form, and we were talking about it yesterday. It's hard to believe they could actually be better than last year.
Well, and without Kelsey Brown, we thought
Yeah,
maybe
that's right.
she was out. She's been playing amazing
So
in their
she was
centre
rested.
role.
She's not injured.
Yeah, no, just resting. Kelsey is over 30 like myself, and we need to look after
Ancient.
our bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, she is living in Perth for the first time and doing so much more flying
So
than
she hasn't
ever
done that before, yeah.
and so she did. She got a couple of hits in the game last week against the Swifts, so they decided to be safe and rest her, which was great. Tinkered the Fever's lineup a little bit more, so we saw Captain Jess Anster. She moved forward into that centre
Yeah.
position.
Another Ariang joined us. Ruth
my
Ariang, Sunday Ariang's
goodness.
sister. It was amazing to see them
What
play
a
together.
debut. That was absolutely fantastic. So we weren't sure what we were going to get, and it was like another level. Fever
Yeah.
found another level. So,
Like, I mean, it's the highest winning margin
yes,
ever.
36 goals.
And
yes.
they rested Janelle in the last 10 minutes of the match. You never see her on the bench. That's just
So they were doing so
extraordinary.
well that
Well,
we don't need.
And did you see her on the bench as well? She
yeah.
fully like put her hands behind her.
Yeah, it's like my day is done.
She's like a queen resting. She's
Yes.
like, go, I have done the work. Now finish this for
Yeah,
me. It
and
was
which gave
fantastic.
Fight amongst yourselves, minions.
Gave a couple of the younger players a shot at it, that's for sure.
The depth seems to be amazing. That's one of the hardest things
Yeah.
in any sport, to be able to get that right. How have they been able to do that? Bring these young
I think
players
it's
on.
I think it's obviously the powerful bum grease.
Yeah, but strength.
It's a lot of depth there.
It's funny because I think in previous years, Fever have been criticised for the fact that they didn't have any depth. So if you took Fowler off the court, that you could beat them, they
Yes.
were nothing. If she got injured, they would be beatable easily. Whereas they proved that they're not last week. I think they've invested in new talent, they've brought in new players, but they've also retained and brought in some new recruits. Like Kelsey Brown, she was off a list. No one wanted
Yeah,
to sign
right.
her. So they've
Yeah.
seen value in a player that potentially is not wanted elsewhere and put her in a new position, and she's just fired. So I think that really has been their focus this year, is that they're not just a seven, they're not just about having superstars individually in their team. They want someone or a player that can work in different combinations and out of position at times but still be successful.
What's the state league like at the moment in WA?
Yeah, it's interesting. I went down. My friend Nicola Cox played her 100th game of Gig Wannell the other night, so I got to go down and have a watch. And it's really interesting because there's former West Coast Fever players playing in the competition. There's women who have gone and have a baby who've come back. There's so many familiar
Oh, wow.
faces there. There's girls I used to play with and are in coaching roles. So it's a bit of a mix. It's older talent who have come and stuck around and helped develop the younger ones, and the young ones who are getting out there. And what a great experience. I played for Demons when I was young. I was playing alongside some of the Fever girls, and it was like a starstruck
Well, so are
moment.
you going to go back now?
Don't say
it sounds
that.
like the Seabass wants to put on the GS
Why
again and
not?
get out
So
there.
my biggest argument, 8 o'clock on a Friday night
Okay,
is
no, don't worry
game
about it.
time. Yeah.
We were talking about this morning.
Yes.
People going out and doing things throughout the week at weeknights.
Nathan's
Is that-
just discovered it.
Yeah, I just found out people do that, and people aren't just at home getting ready to get up early the next
Yes.
day. So, what is your opinion on things at night?
Look, I understand. If you didn't do things at night time, you'd never do anything. And so
Yes.
you just get used to it, I guess. But if you've got a job where you don't have to use your brain too much, having a late night is great because you just roll into work and you're a little bit tired.
What about
But
you now?
No. Definitely not. And I can't leave work until 10 o'clock at night. My brain doesn't start firing early. So, no, I think this week is going to be awesome because they're playing against the Thunderbirds.
Yes.
And it's going to be. So there's going to be 6 Jamaican players out on court,
So
right?
it's Jamaican internationals,
International
right? Which is
Jamaican
incredible.
players. So 3 for the Fever and 3 for the Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds have only had 1 loss, but the best matchup we're going to see, it's the 2 best players in the world. One's a goal shooter, one's a goalkeeper. They're going to be playing up against each other. Janelle Fowler-Nemard on her very bestest buddy, Shamira Sterling Humphrey. Everyone's got
Yes,
married and has
yes.
double-barreled names.
Are they
It's very
really? Are they actually
confusing.
really good friends?
They are, because they play together for Jamaica, and they're both absolutely incredible. So it's going to be, I'll pay just to watch
Sterling
them.
Humphrey?
Sterling Humphrey, yeah. So she's leading
she's
the
the
league.
best in the world.
She is. She's leading the league for deflections, for intercepts at the moment. Janelle Fowler-Nemard obviously killing it, 98%. So she misses 1 goal
and we're
every
talking-
3 games,
Yeah.
basically.
What's her name?
Janelle Fowler-Nemard.
No, Sterling Hunt.
Shamira.
Yeah, right.
Shamira.
That's a
yeah.
great,
Shimmy,
great
yes.
name.
And she is amazing. She's got a great story
God,
as
our
well.
names are
She
boring,
does,
aren't
yeah.
they?
Yeah, they are.
Incredible.
They're super
So,
boring.
Yeah,
Super
no, so it's
boring.
going to be great. But we're going to see Kelsey against her old Lightning teammate potentially in Laura Sherian, which will be exciting. So
Yeah, right.
lots of great matchups to be had.
Absolutely. You've got a big week ahead because you'll be covering all the AFL stuff and all the all the netball. only
her?
showing us something.
Show me
She's
her?
beautiful. I danced after one of the games with her because, like, she's beautiful and Jamaican. And
Oh,
dancing.
wow.
Yeah.
I'd put her, you know what? I'd put her in a Disney film. She just looks like
She's
fun for the
amazing.
whole family.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I like her.
Yeah. Well, if you want to come along after 8 o'clock, Nat's Box is back, and that's your opportunity to join me at this match that we're talking about with all the Jamaicans
so
playing,
good.
Wow.
fever flying. It's a top-of-the-table clash. It's going to be on, and food and drinks included. So
And just to keep the theme running, we might test the box grip.
Yeah, the box grip.
We'll try from behind. Let's see what it's like from the front.
love your work,
See you,
Seabass.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
mate.
See Bass.
I'll see you there. I'll be at the netball.
Yep. See you there.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Couple of things to mention. On AFL 360 last night, they were talking about the concussion debate. As we see every single week, there's probably 2 or 3 players from each team,
Yeah.
not each team, 2 or 3 players across the league who are put into concussion protocols. One of them that's just been put into concussion protocols this week is Jeremy Cameron, who played for the Geelong Cats, Nathan, on the weekend. And when the game was in the last quarter and Geelong were absolutely surging at Port Adelaide and had all the momentum in the world, he went for a really big-time mark, landed on his side with his kind of head hitting the ground.
Oh. Yes.
He held his head when he, when like for a second, it was like, whoa, that hurt. And then he got up and the doctor came out and assessed him. And he adjudicated that he was in the right frame of mind to continue playing the game. So Justin Longmuir was on AFL 360 last night, and he said this won't be a popular decision, but he believes that it'd be the right thing to do to have the AFL have doctors there
Like an independent
who are
doctor.
independent
Yes.
of
The team.
the teams. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the teams have an agenda, don't they? And I'm
Yes.
sure that, everyone is trying to put their best foot forward and do the right thing, but there's also would be
In the
pressure
heat
on
of
the
the
fact that if
moment.
you were a big player, I'm sure if it was like a rookie, they would have get them off. But if you're like a big time player, I understand
You can
that.
see, yeah.
Can
you can see
understand that.
why.
But then I totally agree.
And the
There's that-
doctor
that-
should
that
not
thing.
even watch AFL, can't be a fan. Because then, you can't, if you're playing your favourite team.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I'll take him off.
Yeah, cannot have a team, cannot like the sport.
But these doctors are they're the big time doctors
Yeah,
in
I know.
each state. The guys who work for Fremantle or the Eagles,
Yes.
they are like the number one guys going
And
around.
they don't
not
want
gonna-
that on their record or their conscience.
wouldn't have thought so
it
either.
is questioning their credibility.
That's why
It's completely questioning their credibility.
That's why you need someone that doesn't watch it, a non-fan,
Just to come in,
Well, they
just
don't
out of
care. They
nowhere.
don't care what their decision's going to do to the game. They don't watch it.
So it's like if Nathan was a doctor. We would get into
I
it.
wouldn't know who anyone
What's
is.
he checking his knee for?
Sorry, you're off. I was going to run the game. I don't care. I'm not watching
Nathan
it.
comes out with that little hammer on the knee. Okay.
The hammer on the knee is how you test everything.
Absolutely.
You're concussed. But wait, you only tested my knee reflex. Doesn't matter.
The Fremantle Dockers are back to work too after Cam McCarthy's passing as well. And Michael Walters was talking on the news last night how they got together on Saturday night to just be one as a group and share some stories about Cam and really talk it through, and hopefully they can band together and work through this together as they go forward. But I'd imagine it'd be really tough with the funeral. I'm not sure when the funeral is, but when that comes up, there'll be some emotions attached.
Of course there are. They're human beings.
Hey, can I talk about something? Can I take your sports for a second?
Yes.
So when I was off last week, I was finishing with Mum at about 8 p.m. So I was driving home from Hollywood Hospital, and I had to drive and take Dad to Karrinyup, and then I would go back to my place. And I noticed something, and I want to know if you guys know about this.
Okay.
So that was every night during the week, and I'm never out during the nights. I drove past every sporting ground, even little private tennis clubs. There were people out playing sports.
Oh no, Kimmy Schmidt's left
Does
the bunker
anyone know
again.
this? Like there is literally. Shut up, Harry. There's literally. You don't understand. I'm
Harry.
up early, so there's literally. I drove past so many netball games.
So
I drove
many.
past soccer. I drove past football, tennis. People out. The tennis wasn't like a competition. It was just like people,
No, people having a hit.
like Wembley area, like all the richies out, like sipping
How
their
does it go?
Bellinis and playing tennis at night. Like people are
Yeah,
out.
touch footy, Nathan. People like touch footy.
Is
Yes.
it just
You didn't even see the indoor sport.
to me,
Natalie
to
Locke.
me, that just gets me because I honestly, my first thought, and I said to Dad, is why they've got work tomorrow? They should go home.
Well, can I start with firstly the indoor sports, which I mentioned we don't see.
So
I've been
netball,
asked.
cricket,
Yeah,
indoor
basketball's the
soccer.
big one.
Yeah.
So I've been asked a few
Every
times to
night.
play basketball, which
Yeah.
I really would love to do. But the games are scheduled up until 10:30, and we're getting up at Sparrow's Far.
Yeah.
How are the other
You're
people doing it
working.
anyway if they're getting up early to?
Yeah, you don't
to
want
start
that
their
late.
day?
But can we take it away from sports for a second? Are there people out doing like things at night?
Nathan, I
during
went
the
out last
week?
night.
What did you do?
On a Monday night.
What did you do?
So, yeah, there's a podcast, an American podcast that I love called The Dollop, and they were here doing
Yeah.
the show at the Astor. So I went along to that last night,
Yeah.
started at 7:30,
Yeah.
had dinner beforehand.
Look, I understand one-off things like
Yes.
that, which is the thing about.
Yeah, it was almost full too. There were
Yeah.
people, so a whole theatre full of people
Yeah.
on a Monday night went out.
But I'm more interested to know people that do regularly.
Okay,
like,
so you go to boot
Italian
scooting.
classes or, boot
Like,
Boot
yeah,
scooting.
it's like regular. Like, this is my thing, and I do it every week. Especially if. Do you reckon there are people out there that are doing something every weeknight? How?
I reckon a lot of, well, most of my kids have got something on at least 3
but they're
times. And some of
young.
them got 4 times. But
Yeah.
you think about it, they're not getting home till 8 o'clock at night, eating dinner by themselves. Got to do something.
They've got no responsibilities, really. Life's just started for them.
Okay.
We're talking about us. We've got the world
All right.
on our shoulders. We all have to work. What are you doing? Go home and go to sleep.
I know, 13, 24, 10. Have you got an answer for Nathan?
Yes.
Yeah, we want to know. This is
Are you
great.
are you highly scheduled? Are you doing something every single night?
What are you
Whatever it might
doing?
be. Yeah, Nathan wants to know because he's amazed that people are out.
What are you doing? And then, like, what time do you
Do you have
to work
tennis
the
on
next day? Like,
Thursdays?
how does it?
I feel
Yes.
Thursday's an okay time,
Yes.
but
Run
it's
us-
Monday, Tuesday,
Are
Wednesday.
you in a scrapbooking class that meets at 7:30 on a Wednesday?
Yeah.
Like, what are you?
I know.
What
If
do you
you're
mean?
doing that, what are you
Band
doing?
practice.
Band practice.
13, 24,
People
10
out
if this
doing
is you.
things. Is that
Nathan's
life?
amazed.
Is that life?
He was out.
It's giving you a bit of a picture about how he's seen so much stuff on Netflix, isn't it?
It just amazes me. Look at all the people.
I know.
There are people
They
out
do
doing
things.
things throughout the week.
And they're up now calling us, Nathan. That's even more amazing.
Shaun Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.